Hello friends, it's Dave here from SaveDex.
And I'm Sophie.
And Happy New Year to you. We're getting
and to you too, Dave.
Yes. Not saying it to the viewers.
Oh, and to you.
So to end this year, we decided to look back at the year of 2022 and what games came out that were our favourites. So this was a pretty weird year because we sort of didn't buy as many games as we usually do. We sort of took a back seat, saved a bit of money and just enjoyed the games that we had a bit more. So before we get started, I just want to say that some of our picks might seem a bit out there, like not really on most people's lists, and there are quite a few big hitters that we're not including on our list simply because we never played them.
Yeah.
So Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the Fire Emblem Warriors game, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Bayonetta 3 I've barely played. Those are all games that I'm sure deserve places on people's best games of the year list, but we can't include them because we haven't played them. Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to us and let us know in the comments down below any games you feel like we've missed out this year. I'll let you know if we've played them or not. And we don't want to spoil our list, so the games you've been looking at so far are our honourable mentions. So let's move on to number 10. What's our 10th favourite game of the year?
Let's get fit.
Yeah, we're starting off with a fitness game that
we did mostly in the summer. I mean, Ideally we need to do it again now because we have indulged over Christmas.
That's true.
But, you know, hibernation.
And I think this sort of says a lot about what this year's been like for us gaming-wise, when last year we were able to come up with a top 10 list each.
Yes.
So we had 20 games plus like 5 honourable mentions each that we could have put on there. This week, not only are we doing combined top 10, but one of them's a fitness game.
Yes. But the thing is, like, we saw that for sale and we were like, oh, let's give it a go. And actually it's really good. I'd say arguably,
That's a word, yeah.
Arguably,
yeah,
it's better than Ring Fit.
We've definitely spent more time on it than Ring Fit.
For sure.
But one thing about it was the plank.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, but the fact is, when we first started, we could barely do the minute that it sets you to. But after constantly trying, I was able to do like up to 2.5 minutes and stuff, and you were as well.
Exactly.
And then
we had like a 6-month break, and then we went back to it because we were like, oh, you know, I bet we'll try, you know, where we left off. And we got pretty far in it.
We did. We didn't quite do the target, but we did further than when we first tried earlier this year.
We used our ab muscles.
So yeah, this game, it works really well as a fitness game. It's a really good time. It's really we have to motivate each other to keep playing it.
Oh yeah, and like again, we really should because like we have indulged a lot.
Okay, what's our number 9?
Number 9 is Lego Star Wars.
Yes, and this was the Skywalker saga, as they called it, which combines episodes 1 to 9. And there was also DLC for characters from some of the spin-off stuff, like Mandalorian and Rogue One, but no story of those, just the characters. So we've been playing through the original trilogy on that. How have you been finding that?
I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's very... because I played a lot of the Lego games in the past, and I like that... compared to the previous Lego Stars, where it was more of an isometric sort of top-down-ish view, now like the camera's behind your character. When you aim your gun, it goes over the shoulder.
The only thing I would say is that it's always split screen.
Yeah, whereas some of the older Lego games, it would be one screen.
Yeah, you can merge it and stuff.
And then when you separated it would become split screen.
So it's always split screen here, which I find really odd. But, you know, whatever, I still had a good time playing.
Yeah, definitely, and it's obviously got that Lego humour, and the voice acting's funny.
Of course.
And so Lego Star Wars, really good game. Our number 9 on this list.
Amen.
Okay, number 8.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Okay,
so we'll make a confession here. This is a Switch games video we're doing. But this game we've actually played on the Xbox, but it is available on the Switch.
Yes.
And from what I've heard, it's fantastic on the Switch as well.
Cool.
So it's one I probably would have gotten on the Switch, but it was on Game Pass, so I didn't need to buy it.
We're awful people.
Hey, we're supporting Game Pass, it's fine.
That is true, but also awful people.
And again, I don't play a lot of side-scrolling beat-em-ups. I sort of play them sparingly, but... because this is made by Dotemu, who made the excellent Wonder Boy 3 remake, as well as the Streets of Rage 4, I had a lot of faith in them for this game, and they delivered an excellent product here.
100%.
and we've been playing through this in co-op together. We're actually playing it a bit earlier on, weren't we?
Yeah. And we love side-scrolling beat 'em ups.
Yeah, to
Like,
play
love
co-op,
them.
playing them
Yeah.
co-op. Yeah, definitely. They're built for co-op, these, and they really
Was it
took
Double Dragon, the last one we played?
Double Dragon Neon. We played that one.
That was
yeah,
so good.
that was fun as well. So this one takes the 80s Turtles series, and it really it feels like a retro game, but it's modern with its quality of life features as well. The voice acting's great, the music and everything. And one telling thing about why I think this deserves a spot on this list is when we were playing it earlier, at one point you sort of sat forward and then you were sort of bouncing up and down and getting really into it, and it was just a lot of fun to play this one together.
Definitely.
Okay, so speaking of playing a game together, let's go on to our number 7.
Number 7 is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Loved this one. So
Yes.
good. So good.
Yes, definitely
the
me
story,
too.
I just remembered.
Now, Kirby's not really a franchise. I enjoy them okay, but they've never really been top 10 of the year for me.
No.
Because like Kirby Star Allies was the previous one, and I sort of played through that and it was kind of forgettable. This is the first time I've played a Kirby game and got really excited about playing it. And
there's more as well. Like you can go back into it and play the other levels, like finding the cursed people.
Because it has because it's a 3D Kirby game. It's kind of like Mario 3D World, where you got the linear levels, but you can go different paths, and there's secrets to find. As you said, the Waddle Dees you can rescue, and obviously like there's collectibles to find, there's missions to do, and it's just a lot to go back to. And you got the transformations as you get in Kirby games, the copy abilities. You can upgrade them. You're building this town, the Waddle Dee town.
Yes.
And you can upgrade them. And like the fire one, you get like a volcano and stuff like that on you.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot to see, a lot of charm in this game. And it was just a really, really fun game to play through. So on to our number 6.
Number 6 is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Now, people may have noticed that we put Pokemon Legends Arceus in the honourable mentions.
Yes.
And I did really like that one, hence why it's there. But honestly, I did prefer Pokemon Violet to this. And it's the first one to where we bought both games. You had Pokemon Scarlet.
Yeah.
And what did you think of this one?
I love this game. Like, I loved it. I wasn't that fussed back in the day when Sword and Shield came out. I was like, not that fussed. And Arceus, I was like, oh, maybe. But then this one came out and I started playing and fell in love. Amazing.
Yeah, and it's one we've been playing together, like again, because we both have a copy of the game, and your brother has Scarlet as well, and we've been playing online together, and I know a lot of people have been complaining about this game as well, but to be honest, a lot of the complaints I've either not noticed or they haven't bothered me.
Yeah. Or they've made me laugh. So.
Yeah, or made you laugh. But yeah, just exploring this open world, just finding the Pokemon, going through the stories has been a lot of fun. And it's just been very addictive. We put a lot of time into that this last month, haven't we?
Definitely.
It's just, we get home from work and we're like, Pokemon.
I need to do more though, because I need to fill out my Pokédex.
Yeah, I've done all the stories now. I just need to fill out the Pokédex now. But yeah, I really like what they did with this one.
Me too.
So, number 5.
Number 5 is Splatoon 3. I love this game. I got this for my birthday and it is amazing. Like, I mean, I wasn't that fussed about Splatoon and like the turf battles, and then Splatoon 3 came out and I was playing the turf battles and I was like, yeah, this is fun, and I quite enjoyed like, you know, the different guns and stuff. And what I didn't realise before is that, you know, the items that you buy, like the clothing items, they have different like abilities, maybe not abilities, but like it feels like an RPG where they've got like different, like plus this, plus defense, or, you know, minus defense, plus attack, plus
RPG
speed.
elements.
Yes. So I was like, oh, getting into that, and then I realised that there's a single player mode, and I was hooked, because basically you just do these challenges and then you earn these, I can't remember what they're called, but you earn these things and then you can get rid of the, you know, affected areas on the islands that you go to. It's the wrong terminology, I do know that, but I just can't remember. I was just too into what I was doing to remember what they were called, but yes, it's very good.
I never
There's
remember
also
the
the
names
salmon
of
run,
anything.
and that's like a, you know, boss rush. Not boss rush. Oh, I'm getting
It's
the
a
wrong
horde
words.
mode.
Horde mode,
Yeah.
that's the one. And yeah, I haven't played much of that, but I've played more the single player because I love that. It is good stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't really fussed about getting Splatoon 3 because I loved the first Splatoon, and Splatoon 2 I played enough of it, but I've never really been big into the series. So the third one I was sort of like, yeah, I've got Splatoon 2, but then because you wanted it, so I was like, okay, you can, because I let you play Splatoon 2 first, and that's when you got into the series. So I'll get that for you for your birthday. And then, so I've played it a bit, and as you can probably tell by the footage you're looking at, I'm awful at Splatoon, like really, really bad at it. So I don't play it a whole lot, but I do appreciate it, and obviously the joy it's given you makes it worth being on the top 10 list. It is a combined list after all.
I want to play more of it, actually.
So as we go into our top 4, 2 of them are your picks and 2 of them are mine, exclusively. So number 4 is one of your picks, so let's go into that.
2 Point Campus. I mean, I loved 2 Point Hospital because it reminded me of a game, and I think it is the same game, to be fair.
Theme Hospital.
Theme Hospital. My step-grandparents had that on their computer, and every time I'd visit their house, I'd play that. So when 2 Point Hospital came out, I was like, this is awesome. And then 2 Point Campus came out, and we did a stream of it.
Yeah, it was on Game Pass at the time.
Hooked. Like, I was well in depth in that.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I still love it. And now I have it on Switch. Thank you.
That's all right.
Got it for Christmas. Oh wait, it was Santa who got it.
It was Santa that got that for you, yeah.
It was very good. Yeah, I love that, it's the similar sort of thing where you're, building the area and then hiring the people, and then what I like to think of as like putting out small fires. Not really, not literally putting out small fires, but like managing little catastrophes that happen.
Nice.
Yes.
Micromanaging.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So is it fun better on the Switch than on the Xbox, would you say?
I'd say it's the same because there's no touchscreen involved, but I do like that I can carry it around.
Yeah. And play it in bed.
Yeah, I don't have to turn the TV on to play it, so that's good.
Cool. Eat up those AA Xbox batteries.
Literally.
Yeah. Okay, so on to my number 3, and again, this is on the Switch, but I played it on Xbox. I probably will buy it on the Switch. It's on Game Pass. It's called Tinykin. So, from what I've heard, it is really good on the Switch as well, but this is basically if Pikmin was a 3D platformer.
Oh, nice.
And you're a tiny person, you're going around this house, it's a giant house, and the characters in it have sort of built a society around this house. Like, they've got different names for the rooms, and they sort of have their own sort of community, their own sort of way of naming things. And the Tinykins are these little creatures that follow you around. You sort of gain them like you do Pikmin. Some of them you can blow up for things, some of them create a ladder for you, and so on. And it's a collectathon. You have missions to do around the area and just exploring. You're finding new Tinykin that can access you different areas, and I love 3D collectathons, and this is just amazing. It sort of has a Paper Mario style art style with 2D characters in the 3D world, but it really does feel like you're in a massive house. They really nailed the atmosphere, and just the whole obsessive collect everything mentality really hooked me in. So let's go on to your game of the year.
Yes.
This is the number 2 pick.
Ooblets. I love Ooblets.
What is Ooblets?
Ooblets is it's really hard to explain. So you've got these little Ooblets. They're like these little monster things, and you collect them and you befriend them. So it's sort of like Pokemon. You're sort of catching them.
I was
sort
waiting
of like
for
yokai.
Pokemon to get mentioned.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to avoid that, but I don't know how I can. Anyway, so you battle with them, but it's no ordinary battle. It's a dance battle. Nice. And you do these dances using these cards. So it's like a card game / dance battle. But, that's only a small portion of it. The rest of it's you're, growing vegetables, which, I love doing. You're crafting stuff, you're buying stuff for your house, and you're, befriending the locals and, cleaning up these weird, I don't know, they've got a funny name, but I've forgotten what they're called, but basically, trash on the, sidewalk, the pavement, stuff like that. But I love it. My favourite bit is that you can go and take a picture with your Ooblets in like a photo booth, and I love that. That's my favourite thing. And I just change my hair every time. You can change your hair, you can change your clothes. I've bought so many clothes in this game. And then there's a really good level where you can do arcade games to, reach the ooblet tower. So this is another thing about this game. There's like an ooblet tower where you have to like fight the person inside to get the strength, the Wi-Fi strength back up.
Oh,
basically.
really?
Yeah, so there's different ones and you just keep going until it's done. But yeah, I still haven't finished that. But it's very good. I very much enjoy that game. There's a really good bit, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but there's a really good bit where you gain an item, which is awesome.
Nice. So yeah, it did look like the perfect Sophie game there.
Oh yeah.
So that's your game of the year on the Switch.
Indeed.
So my game of the year, and this is another thing that makes this year really weird, even with games I've not included on this list, but when a lot of the games, kind of like with Pokemon, kind of like with Legend of Arceus as well, Mario Strikers and the honorable mentions, there's a lot of games where I feel like if I was to explain to them why I've put them on this list, it doesn't feel like I'm explaining why they're awesome. It just feels like I'm trying to defend the game, because a lot of games that come out this year, everyone was complaining about, everyone had a problem with them. You know, like there had to be a reason. I felt like I needed to justify liking it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to justify my game of the year because it was my favourite game this year, no other reason. And that is Sonic Frontiers, the Switch version of Sonic Frontiers.
Boo! No, joking.
So this had a lot of controversy because of the IGN footage that didn't look so good, but then later footage came out and it looked better. So when it came out, I was debating, because they weren't showing Switch footage, there were no reviews out before the game came out, and it was kind of like, do I get this on the Switch? Do I get it on the PS4? Because it's not off. Quite often I can wait a bit longer for games, but this is one game I didn't want to wait for, so I'm a big Sonic fan. And I got it on the Switch because I prefer to have games on the Switch. And I was playing it all day, and I'll get into the gameplay in a bit, but obviously graphically it's not going to be as good as the PS4 or Xbox versions. And I'm noticing, yes, there's pop-in. It didn't really bother me, but I'm noticing about at the same time I'm thinking, you know what, I could have just, for the same price, bought a better version of this game.
Yeah.
But what happened, I played it for quite a few hours that day on the TV. When it came to sort of bedtime, what did I do? I went up to the Switch, took it out the dock, took the game up to bed with me, and at that moment I knew I'd made the right decision. You can't do that with an Xbox Series S.
One day maybe, but not the
Maybe, but I didn't have to use AA batteries for this game either. So there. So yeah, gameplay-wise, people are comparing it to Breath of the Wild, and it's sort of the feeling I got. It's an open zone game, as they're calling it. You're just exploring these islands. You're finding like little challenges to do, enemies to fight. The combat's really good. Just running around as Sonic just feels fantastic. You go to these sort of these levels that are more linear platforming, as you're used to, 2D and 3D ones, based on like Emerald Hill Zone, so Green Hill Zone, and Chemical Plant, things like that. And you're collecting keys that open vaults to get the Chaos Emeralds. You've got these amazing boss fights where you play as Super Sonic, and it's just epic. The story's really good, although I'm not too keen on the voice acting in this one. The music overall was fantastic. This was just the most fun I'd had with a game all year. That's why it's my game of the year. Last year I put Mario Party Superstars as number one.
Which is good.
Because even though that was just because it was the most fun I'd had with a game last year. That's what I judged these on. What one gave me the most fun. So that is my personal game of the year. Won't be a disservice to say, actually, probably the most fun we've had with games this year, probably the Mario Kart DLC.
Yeah, that's true.
And the N64 games, namely Pilot Wings.
Oh, I love that game.
And the Mario Party original one. You know, so I think, obviously I can't include them because they're not this year's games, but
still good.
So those are our games of the year. Let us know what you think of them, and let us know in the comments down below what ones we're missing, and why we're right or why we're wrong. But be civil about it, please. We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, don't be shouting at us.
Yeah. So stay tuned, because I'm going to do a predictions video for 2023 and look at my predictions for 2022, see how many I got right and whether I can be trusted. I'm just guessing. I have no inside knowledge. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next one in the new year.
Goodbye. Happy New Year.